Good morning and welcome to Smart Service 365 TV. I'm Denver and today I'm going to be taking you through Smart Service 365, our web-based scheduling program. Now before we get started, I want you to know that when you're ready to schedule your own demonstration or a short phone call with me, you can come up to smartservice.com/Denver, that's me, and come down here and hit the yellow button and schedule a time where we can go through your company's needs. All right, I'm going to go over here to our dispatch board, and I have plenty of tabs open, so I can take you all through the program. Just to give you a little overview, I'm going to start out here and take you through the dispatch board. It's basically the brain of the program. You can do most of your work over here. And then I'm going to filter down and go through quote screen, work order screen, show you some of the features where you can track your customers, keep all that in order. And then I'll go over invoicing and a little bit of the QuickBooks integration. All right, right here on my dispatch board, you can see it's filled up with my appointment blocks. Now, the appointment blocks are kind of like, I always say, empty Russian nesting dolls. Inside, you can have a quote, work order, and an invoice. It's a good way to keep it all straight. And on those three things, we also have individual screens for each of those. We have quote, work order, invoice screen. Just come back here. So there are many places that you can apply filters to and search for your quotes or work orders within the system. Now over here on my left, I like to keep it simple with two departments, sales and service. You can have as many or as few as you want. The system is highly customizable to your business practice. So if I come down here and select, let's go with Randy, I can text him right from the system, navigate in Google Maps, and I can see his appointments for the day, which is real handy if you're scheduling on the fly. Because if you schedule a job for him and it presents that it's way up here in Waldo, Ohio, you're going to want to send someone else because Randy is almost, over an hour away. Close this out up here, top map icon. This one, if you start out here, will give you a live GPS location of your technician. Now, this is pretty handy for a lot of scheduling reasons. I do have some customers that like to use it on Friday afternoon to see if their guys in the field are, cutting out a little bit early. So, handy little tool there. And I know a lot of you like to optimize your routes. We have several options in the system for that. We have a very extensive route plan based on location. You can also individually optimize your technician's route right here, and it won't affect the other job. So let's say you'd already optimized everything else on the board and you needed to reset Randy. You can do it with a click of a button. Now, if I need some information on dear old Randy, come down here, click Open Employee. It's going to give me the info for Randy. And this is a question I get a lot. What will my technicians in the field be able to do and see? Well, you can adjust that yourself. Right here with permissions, you can see my technicians have about a third of the ability out in the field. My account, of course, and yours would be an administrator view. You'd have everything selected. And if you come further down, you can even turn off line item pricing if you don't want them to see pricing. Get that question a lot because nobody wants to have the tricky overhead conversation. Now, let's see here. We will get into, let's go with Neri today. I never pick on him. I'm going to start out with a quote. Now, you can jump straight to a work order if you want as well. And to do that, I'm just going to pull a block out and start with a quote. You could do just a straight appointment as well, too, if you wanted, but just for sake of time, I'm going to go with a quote. Need a customer name, of course. I'll show you what creating a new one looks like. Pretty straightforward over here. Customer info. I'm sure you've all seen that before. It's not new. But what might be new for you is tracking source. And this is really great if you're running ad campaigns. I've got some generics in here, like radio ad, TV ad, Facebook. You can keep track of how many customers are coming to you from that Facebook ad that, is costing you $3,000, or the radio ad where you got 20 spots for $1,500. And you can find out if it's worth it. You can also set customer type. Now, these are custom fields. They can be whatever you want them to be. So for customer type, you could say residential, commercial, industrial, preferred customer, whatever you want it to be. And yes, you can put grumpy customer in there if you like. Another question I get a lot. And I'll show you a little bit later in the customer field how we can filter down by those different types. I'm going to go with a preset. Let's see. See what I have for B. Ben Parker. Ben's information is going to populate in. Now, I know a lot of you have extensive customer lists, so this is going to make your day a lot easier. You're not going to have to fill out on a paperwork order, the address for your tech every time. There's this handy notes section here. You can just type right into here for you. Notes for job. And we do need a description of the quote. So today is Monday. And it's snowing outside in central Ohio, so I'm going to call it Monday Snow 22. Now, if I didn't like where I pulled the block, I can manually reset here with this handy little clock. It's real straightforward. Well, that's for anybody that grew up with a clock that looks like this instead of the digitals that seem to be everywhere. You can set priority. You can set type of job. I'm just going to call it a service call. Service. And priority, let's see what I've got. Medium. Boom. Now, you can also select a crew. So for those of you out there that are running on multiple technician crews, you can set up the crew and you'll pre-build those with lead technician. And the lead technician will get a solid block, and the schedule will also filter down to any secondary technicians that are part of the crew. So they will see that on their dispatch board. They're not going to be relying on the lead technician to let them know. And down here we have quick tags. These are great for not wanting to type in, oh, they have an angry dog 500 times in a month. It might take 15 seconds, but multiply by 500, and that's a lot of time. With tags, you type it in once, and you customize them, whatever you want them to be. So hidden key, gravel driveway, doorbell, dog, whatever. And you just click them. No more typing it in. Save it. Boom. There's a quote. Real easy. Now, it'll go even faster when I'm not talking to you during the whole thing, and you'll get your process down where it'll be ironed out. It might take 20, 30 seconds to get it all in. All right. Now, before I get into this quote, I want to show you a few things here. If you scroll over an appointment, it'll give you a quick view, the address, status, all sorts of handy little information so you don't have to open the appointment. Now, right now, I have my block showing the customer name and the description. As you can see, the description we put in, and Ben Parker. You can reset those. And I have my appointment blocks colored by status. I find status to be the most helpful, and I'll get a little bit more into that as we work through the quote and change it into a work order. But some of you may like to color by city or zip or type of job. You can do that as well. I'll show you what city looks like. Cities will present over here, and they'll color out. Now I'm going to take it back to status. And we can also change what's in the appointment block. I know not all of you like to set it up the way I have it right here. Come in here. And we have a lot of options as well. I won't get too far into this, but I just want to show you real quick. We have many options. Can accommodate pretty much anything you're looking for here with these options as far as what's in the appointment block. Okay. Now, that was real easy to build that quote up. I want to show you an even faster way. So once you get your process down, it can save you even more time. And this is going to work for those of you that have a lot of jobs that are very similar in time frame or description. So if you're going out to do generic service calls, chimney sweeps, quick emergency calls, auto lockouts, whatever the case may be. We have this quick entry over here. I'm going to use an auto lockout because I've been talking to a lot of locksmiths this week. So all you have to do for this is click it and drag it. Let's give it to Neri. And you'll pre-build these once, just like the tags. And all you have to do is put a customer name in. So let's see what I have for V. Ivan. And you can put in pre-populated notes, as you see here in the description. You can put in preset pricing, and you just hit save. Takes 5 seconds just to pick a customer and save it. All right. Now, before we get into our quote here, I want to mention to anybody joining a little late, if you missed anything in the video, you can come down here and schedule a demo with me. And all you have to do is type in smartservice.com/Denver. And yes, that's me. It's my real name. And you can select a time frame that'll work for you, and I will go through a demonstration that'll fit your business process for you. Come back here to our dispatch board. All right. Before I open up this Ben Parker quote and work through it and add some line items, I know a lot of you do have jobs that you'll set up and you have to cancel them with a customer for whatever reason, or put them on hold is a better way to say it. So the customer calls you and says, not Monday, I need it done this week, but I don't know when. We'll take this Ivan Turner auto lockout. Well, the auto lockout, yeah, that'll work. All you have to do is come down to status and hit waiting list. And it's going to shoot down here to our waiting list. It's a bucket for those jobs that need done, but you don't want to rebuild a work order for them, and you don't want to forget about them. Now, you don't have to scroll through every time. These fields are searchable. So if I just wanted to see Andy's jobs, or even better, I can go to description. There's that Ivan Turner auto lockout. And when it's time to reschedule it, we can bring it up here. Now I could give it to Neri, give it to Randy, I'd give it to anybody. Skip to Scott. Everything is drag and drop in the system. Makes it real convenient for you. You don't have to overthink it if you're moving something around. If you want to manually change a job, say to tomorrow, you can come to the move option. We can accommodate any of your needs here, days of the week, today, tomorrow, that sort of thing, ahead an hour, back an hour. It's real straightforward. All right, let us go into our quote. So we're opening our appointment, and here's our quote, and we're going to open that up. And before I do, I know a lot of you do like to find best fit for a job. I mean, who wouldn't? Some of you will have lots and lots of appointments, preventative maintenance and whatnot, scheduled out, from here until the end of the year. If you are having difficulty or think there might be some difficulty in manually selecting a time, that's no problem. Come down here in the appointment and hit edit and come to our suggestions option. This takes all the guesswork out of scheduling. You don't have to think about it anymore. All you have to find out or know is how many hours you need. So I need 3 hours over the next 2 days you can go by employee, crew, department, skill set. And you can track your skill sets in the system as well. I'm just going to hit an employee, Scott. And it will give you the next available. Boom, lots of options. Or by drive time. Now, these are all very similar from mine because I don't have a lot of jobs out in the future for Scott. But if you did, this will take all the guesswork out. It'll find you best fit for that, for that appointment. So you can tell the customer right away without having to be like, maybe how's your Tuesday look? That sort of thing. You can know right away. Takes 15 seconds. All right, I'm going to leave that off and just come back in here to our quote. And there are those tags we selected earlier. Open this up. I did not want all quotes. I wanted my quote. My quote up. Sorry, my internet is running a little bit slow. I'm going to close this out here real quick. There we go. Pop my quote open. And all our information populated in. Now, quotes, you're going out. Customer wants to know how much it is. This is where you're going to come to for your line items. Now, you can add brand new line items in here. You can just select presets in here. I'm going to go service trip charge. Save that. Populate in. You can do group items as well. Let's see, service items. This is great for those of you who, a lot of my plumbers enjoy this. You work on a toilet and it might need 7 or 8 little pieces. This way you don't have to type them in. They'll just all pre-fill in. I just have a generic part A, part B, part C in here to pop in for you. So you can get all those parts at once without having to go individually and select the item. We also have a price book. And for those of you that are familiar with Price Book, you're going to enjoy this. For those of you that have never seen it, you're really going to enjoy it. All right, I have some generic, I have Home Depot and Supply House. So all you have to do for this, let's see, I'm going to do HVAC today. So I open up Supply House, I get the HVAC. I'm going to click it again. I need mini split unit. And I just drill down until I get what I need. And I know I need this one. Now, this is great for your technicians out in the field because it takes all the guesswork out of, oh, did I put the right part in? Am I charging the right amount? You'll pre-build your price book to fit you. And I'm going to show you what it looks like here. I'll just add that to quote real quick and hit back. I'm going to come over here and show you what it looks like in our configuration screen. Just so you have a better visual of it. It breaks down like a tree. So your guys just drill down out in the field until they get where they need to be. So it just cascades down. Really easy to use. Let's close that back up. All right. Come back here to our dispatch board. Come back into our quote. All right, it's pretty straightforward. We got everything on there we want. We want to get the customer's approval for a quote because there's really no point in doing a quote if you don't need customer approval, or else you would just do a work order. Now you can send it right to the customer with this handy little button, and you can build up preset emails to go along with it. So you can also attach any images you've taken or equipment, which I will cover in the work order here in a second. All right, now I'm not going to send this out because it would just go to my email, and I have lots and lots of emails in there already. All right. Now we want to turn it into a work order. Customer has approved. Real easy. Click. System will check with you, make sure it's all right, of course. We want a work order, and here's our work order. Just that easy. So no more writing out, transferring all that quote information to the work order. You can reset your times real easy, so there's not going to be any issue with that. It's not going to create a lot of scheduling clutter. You can just do it right here in the system. The system will update. It's a web-based system, so if your guys do this out in the field, it's going to update on your screen. You're going to be able to see it in real time. Takes all the guesswork out for you. If you needed to, I know some of you have recurring, quite a few of you actually. I'm just going to briefly show you the recurrence. We do have that ability right here. Going to create recurrence. I'm not going to set one up because it'll generate out on my dispatch board. I'm just going to show you the weekly. Monday, and down here is when you can end your recurrence. This is great for those of you that have contract with somebody for 6, 8, 18 months, or 6, 12, 18 months, 2 years. And it'll populate out that recurring job into the future on your dispatch board. And when you get out there, you can actually change when it's scheduled for without affecting the future ones, which is pretty handy if somebody needs to cancel for Monday and do it Tuesday. It's not going to affect the other Monday jobs on there. So that was just a quick view of that. All right, here we have our line items we added on our quote. I want to cover the equipment feature. I know a lot of you like track equipment. This is the best way to do it right here is equipment. Customer. If I can spell. Customer is HVAC. Now, bear in mind, I'm not a real company, so I don't have a manufacturer model part number, but you would, and this is where you can track all that, and warranty dates, service dates right here. Get a GPS location in the item. Right here is where you're going to add your handy little image. And this is great for those of you that just like track work. It's also good for anyone a customer coming back and saying, this wasn't completed or it was left in this state. It's good, it's good to know how your technician left the unit. And we're going to save that. Now, I'm sure you can see I have previous one here as well. All right. And the great thing is about that, they will lock to the customer. It's not just on the work order. It's going to be tied to that customer. Let me show you that here. Close this out real quick. Come up to customers. Refresh this. Come into Ben Parker here. Now we're going to go over here to equipment. See? It's going to tie to that customer. So every time you do a quote, work order, appointment for that customer, your technician in the field is going to have all that information. So you're not going to have to add it in every time. It's not just restricted to the quote or the work order. Come back here and open up our work order. And you can see previously we just had a quote. Now that we built the work order, it's right here. And when we do an invoice, it'll be right below. It's a handy little way to keep them all in order, and you won't have to go to 3 different screens. Into our work order. Now, I skipped over this bit. These arrows up here are interactive. They tie directly to the excuse me, status blocks on the dispatch board. So if you hit en route, the system's going to text your customer, your guy's on his way. Arrived, it'll change the color of the block, working, and so on and through completed. Now, if they don't work through these, that's fine. I know some of you don't want to use them. But for a lot of you, it's pretty handy to know exactly what state a job's in. And you can manually change them back in the office if, one of your techs forgets to hit the button. It's no big deal. It's not going to affect anything negatively. All right. Now, we do have the ability to do fillable PDF forms here as well, too. So any fillable PDF you'd like to upload into it, we can do that. We can also create one for you. Your own little company logo in there. And as they're working, beyond just the equipment here, they can also get previous history with the history button. And it'll show previous work orders and quotes done for that customer, and they can open them up. They're just as interactive as the one we're working right now. They don't have to call back into the office anymore and say, hey, was this done the last time, Terry was out? They'll just know. Get directions, send it to the customer, and we can also turn it right into an invoice and take payment in the field. And that's what we're going to do. Okay, yes, I want an invoice. Boom, invoice. Just that easy. Now you can take signature right here, digital, for the customer. Pretty straightforward. Close that out. Get a preview of it, or you can take payment. Everybody wants to take payment, especially when it's $6,000. Now, with our system, you can take electronic check, credit card, cash, and this is all through our merchant service. Now, if I have my iPad synced up, I could come here and do the card number. You don't need readers anymore, which is great. So you don't need that little swipe device. You can just use the camera on your device out in the field, take an image of the card. All you have to put in is the little security code on the back. Keeps it nice and easy for you. Now, I'm going to close this out in fake cash. So I'm going to process that out. Boom. It's paid. Now, when it's processed out, you can send it to QuickBooks Online. You can send it over if it's unpaid as well, too. But you can send it over to QuickBooks Online. Close this out here. And I want to go back into our appointment block and show you. See, we started with the quote. Here it is. And then our work order. And then our invoice. Now, when you turn a quote to a work order and work order to invoice, it's not going to destroy the quote or the work order that preceded it. And you can go straight from quote to invoice if that's your preference. That is an availability in the system, just as easy as quote to work order. But this way you're going to have record of quote, work order, and invoice throughout the system. So it's not destroying anything, which is very handy if you need to track something back. All right. Now our quote screen, pretty straightforward, grid view. You can apply filters to any of these fields you want. So if you just want to see for, let's see, employee, you can just see Aries. Boom. He only has 2 jobs because I don't use him that often. So, and you can apply multiple filters at the same time. When you apply filters or none at all, you can see the information in map view. It's handy. You can see where most of your customers are. Chart view. Give you nice little handy breakdowns. Everybody loves a visual, and who doesn't love a pie chart? And a calendar view. Take this back to grid. It's the same for work order as well, but I want to go into customers real quick because I am running a little shy on time here. We've got our grid view here. We've got a map view, chart view. I like chart view. Just more fun with colors. You can see your commercial, preferred, residential, all sorts of breakdowns in here. I'm going to go back to grid though. And as I said before, you can apply filters to all of these fields. So I'm going to come up here to our type, which we discussed earlier. If I just want to see my commercial, I can do that. My preferred customers, my residential. I'm just going to see my preferred customers and my residential, or my commercial. Wow. So my commercial and my preferred will pop up. Just as I said, you can stack multiple filters in the system. Now I want to go into Ben again and show you a little bit more in our customer screen. It's a great way to keep track of your customers, what's going on with them. You can track phone calls in the system. You can track appointments. You can see previous appointments made, previous quotes made, work orders made, and these are all that have been made for Ben Parker, and previous invoices. So this way you don't have to go search every time. They're just right here on the customer directly. It's real convenient. You don't have to pull a file out of a cabinet. You can also see previous equipment. And there's that piece of HVAC that we just added. And there's the attachment field too. You can just add straight pictures without having manufacturer model, that sort of thing. These are great for kind of before and after photos if you like. You also would find your fillable PDFs, any that you'd added in here as well. All right, I'm going to close this out here. And for invoicing, pretty much the same grid view. You can apply filters to all of them. So if I want to see my open, I can see my open. If I want to see my paid, I can do paid. And I can push over, let's just go into this one real quick. You can push over to QuickBooks Online. I know I mentioned that before. If you didn't want to do it individually, though, you can come over here and select as many as you want. Push them all over to QuickBooks Online. Keeps it real easy. Now, speaking of QuickBooks Online, I do want to go here to System Settings. I get this question a lot. A lot of you have QuickBooks Online, and you want to know, hey, is my information going to come over easy? Yes, it is. Come here in System Settings, connect to QuickBooks Online, import your customers, line items, sales tax, payment methods, terms, vendors, employees. Just click those buttons. It's all going to shoot over for you. That gives you the ease of integration, so you're not going to have to worry about getting all your information in. System will just do it for you. All right. Now we're running low on time. If you join late or feel like you missed something, please come to smartservice.com/Denver and schedule a demo with me. I know it's getting near Christmas and we're all getting busy. Everybody is. A lot of presents to get. Maybe one of the presents you're going to get somebody is a new scheduling software. Make their life a lot easy. Free up some time for them. Make life make a little more sense for them. So I've been Denver. In case I don't see you, you have a Merry Christmas and a great Monday.